Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at uenradio.com.
It's time for the Bonnie Sher Show, a whirlwind of wit, wisdom, celebrity, and the boomer life. With a little bit of this and a lot of that and so much more you don't want to miss, here's Bonnie.
Well, hello and welcome, new friends and old from near and from afar. I'm Bonnie Sher. I'm going to be your host through the worlds of entertainment, the boomer life, and the type 1 diabetes community. Please feel free to join the conversation. You can do so by calling into the studio at 323-843-2826, or you can tweet the hashtag BSHER radio on Twitter. Before we get this show on the road, I would like to acknowledge jazz great Wayne Cobham for my Super Duper Hero theme song, and to Corey Bowen of Crown and Anchor Jewelry for providing me with the jewelry that I wear on the show in exchange for this promotional message. So make yourselves comfortable, and here we go. When we come back, we are fortunate to have with us conductor, multi-Emmy Award winner, composer, lyricist, pianist, does a lot of stuff, CEO and artistic director of Roven Records. That would be none other than Glen Roven. We'll be back right after this.
Your life story is more than the things you do. It's a story built on the moments you make today and the impact you have on others. How big is your story going to be? Live your legend.
And we're back. Welcome back. Emmy Award winner, conductor. As a matter of fact, Mr. Roven was the conductor for the Sammy Davis Jr. 60th anniversary show, which, of course, I loved every second of, and that's where I first knew of Mr. Roven. And he graciously and kindly said that he would join us here today. We have so many things to talk about, so let me start out by saying, welcome, Glen. Oh, what a smile. Hi. Is it snowing?
No, it was snowing yesterday.
I see. So today is just black ice.
No, it's all melted. It's beautiful today. So we survived another one.
Amazing. I don't even know how I did it. Well, you have had so many things which you have done, and because I'm old and my memory isn't so good anymore, I have listed quite a few here. Now that everybody can hear me again. You composed the Hillary speeches, which was performed by opera stars, and about 30 of them, which aired around the world on January 20th, 2017 at noon. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was about?
Absolutely. I was lucky enough to conduct both Bill Clinton inaugurations, and those were amazing concerts, and it was a great part of my life, and maybe the most moving thing I'd ever been a part of. So when it looked like Hillary was going to win, I thought they might, give me a call as well, and I might be doing that, but that was not to be.
No. Well, yes and no.
Well, and after that horror of night, I'm a composer, so I just went to the piano and started setting her words to music. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just felt I had to write something. So after I finished setting these two two long speeches, I set her the speech she gave when she was going to first run in 2011, and then the concession speech. I thought, well, what am I going to do with this? I mean, I don't have to do anything with it. I did it for myself. But then I said, well, let's see what happens. So I started playing it from some classical singers. And I realized that every single singer that I know, from the biggest stars in the world to up and coming artists, somehow wanted to do something musical about this horrible moment in our lives. And everyone said, let's sing it. Let's sing it. So we got 24, 26 opera stars, from Larry Brownlee, Patricia Racette, Isabel Leonard, the biggest in the world, to each come and shoot a bit of this opus. They each sang, about 30 seconds of it, and we put it all together, and it was this movie, and we streamed it around the world opposite his inauguration. And it actually got worldwide press. People were writing about it in Turkey and Hong Kong and Australia, and I didn't expect that, but it was something that we did, and I'm very happy to do it. And every now and then when I get really upset, there it is. I post it again on Facebook and say, I'm so sorry I had to write this. But it was something we had to do, and I'm glad we did it.
Okay. Also, as we move along, I see that you have written and conducted and produced for Julie Andrews, Melissa Etheridge, Aretha Franklin, Leon Fleischer, Kenny G, Whitney Houston, Dick Hyman, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, Kermit the Frog, Patti LaBelle, Liza Minnelli, Diana Ross, Paul Schaefer, Martin Short, Train, and where you have and many others. That doesn't include me. We have that yet to go.
Well, we haven't worked together. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, please. Now you're going to get me crazy the rest of the day. I personally thought that the musical work on Sammy's 60th was phenomenal. The piece that really touched me, I think, the most was, oh, good, here we go again, The Little Blonde Who's Been Around Forever. Somebody's laughing at me. No, not Joey Heatherton.
You said forever.
No, she did Here's to Those of Us Who Are Different. I see your true colors. Cindy did.
Goldie Hawn did that.
Goldie. That one just was the grabber for me.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I loved working with Goldie on that, and
of course watching Sammy's Tap Shoes be kissed by Gregory Hines was another moment in time.
Well, that's a very, very interesting. That was my favorite thing, and no one could believe he was going to dance, and no one could believe that Gregory and him were going to do this challenge. And something interesting happened when Sammy died. That was the clip that everyone showed: Sammy dancing and Gregory kissing his feet. And you weren't watching, but I was watching, and we had to stop then. We couldn't go on, so I was turning around going, oh my God. And I finished the orchestra, and we stopped the number and applauded. So that was the clip that they used, and went, oh, there it is. I'm somewhere there. And then when I was working with Gregory, I said, Gregory, we are forever linked, because that's the clip they used. And then sadly, when Gregory died, all too soon, again, that was the clip that they used. And it was, very sad for me to see both of these amazing talents and how happy we were that night. And me just, being over the moon going, oh my God. So,
and
no,
he
there
was,
I saw my little head there.
Well, they should show the head at the very least. Okay, we need to take a little break here, and when we return, I'd like to hear more about your musical Norman's Ark, and tell us also about rock docs.
Okay.
Because I only know the diabetes docs now. Jesus. So we'll see you in a couple minutes.
I'll be here.
Great, thanks.
Most prominent thing, and I am at peace with myself. I didn't build this deck, I'm just playing the game. That's all. That's it. Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise. Been making sure they get the nutrition that I need, and it's a balanced meal. My name is Maurice McGriff. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
To get in the way before it happens.
To get a friend home safe.
And to not blame the victim.
It's on us.
To look out for each other.
To not look the other way.
It's on us to stand up.
To step in.
To take responsibility.
It's on us, all of us,
to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
You are tuned in to the Bonnie Sher Show, Boomer Life. We have the pleasure of speaking with Glen Roven, so do join the conversation. You can do so by calling in at 323-843-2826. So we're back to my asking you about your musical Norman's Ark. And what's up with Rock Docs?
Well, Rock Docs is something that we put together a couple of years ago, which was another amazing experience. I do a lot of the music for the philanthropist Mike Milken, who's out there and has the Milken Institute. And Mike is a great believer in science and a big funder of the NIH and has all these wonderful charities that help prostate cancer, and he's really a saint. And one day, he always has these crazy ideas. So one day we were doing a big concert in Washington, and he said, Glenn, I have this idea. I want you to put together all the famous doctors in the world, and they all want to be musicians, and they all want to play.
So true.
And I want you to put it together. And I said, Mike, you're crazy. That's going to be a horrible idea. And he goes, no, it's not. Just do it. And he said, and the first person I want you to call is Francis Collins. And I said, Mike, he mapped the human genome. He's the head of the NIH. He's not going to call me. He goes, oh, he'll call you. So I emailed him. I told him what we were doing, and he knew. He called me back in literally 5 seconds and said, hi, Glenn, it's Francis Collins.
Your
I
best
said,
friend.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh.
So he loved the idea. And I guess I was the first person calling that day who wasn't trying to cut his funding or, reporting a third eye, somehow coming. So Francis said, I'd love to do it. And please call my friend, Steve Labouty, who's the head of pancreatic cancer research in Mount Sinai. And he's also a drummer. So I started calling all these miracle working doctors around the country, telling them about this. They all couldn't have been nicer and more enthusiastic. And I put together this band, and I got them all together in Washington for the Kennedy Center. Oh, there they are. That's Francis, and there's me, and I see Labouty over there. And the thing is, they were all so nervous about playing, at the Kennedy Center live, and it was fun for me to see, these great surgeons be nervous. So now they knew how we were when we were like on the gurney with our butts showing. And
but that's the thing, you see, is the white coat buttoned in the front as opposed to open in the back. That's a whole different reality.
That was my idea. I wanted to make sure that they all had lab coats. and they came together and they sang, songs about healing. So I had them sing "Help" and "Here Comes the Sun," and they stopped the show. It was a fantastic group.
But you're absolutely right. I've never met a doctor who didn't want to be in show business.
Exactly.
I'm there to find out, is my heart going to beat tomorrow? And they want to do, no, what do you want, 3-4 or 4-4 time?
Well, and absolutely. And in fact, Babyface, who was on next, he said, look, I don't mind going on after Springsteen, but I'm never going to follow those rock docs again. And rock docs was my idea. The other alternative was amino acid. And Francis didn't want amino acid. And we put this together a few times. And I've worked with Francis many times over the years. He has this most amazing guitar. Someone gave him a guitar with mother of pearl where the frets are DNA strands, the double helix. And it's quite beautiful. And Francis is these are great men and women. And I was very honored to be a part of them. And, the good thing is, if I ever have a friend who's seriously ill, and I've had a few friends, sadly, who have been, I can email Francis and say, Francis, a friend of mine has pancreatic cancer. What is the best treatment? What's the experimental thing going on right now? And he'll email me back and say, call this person. We'll get him into the program. So just to have that sort of access, and I don't take advantage of it. I don't, call for a hangnail. But if someone of mine,
they don't know how to do hangnails.
No. They know how to do pancreatic cancer. So when someone has a real serious problem, I'm very grateful that I can actually make an email, send an email, and I'll get response. And I'm thrilled about that.
Well, you should be. That's what we call heavy hitters. We like
heavy hitters, and thanks to Mike Milken and his great, amazing foundations. And the
name of the foundation one more time.
Well, it's the Milken Foundation, Milken, and it's the Milken Prostate Cancer. But he has foundations about education and everything. But it's Mike Milken, the Milken Foundation, the Milken Organization. And it's actually out in L.A. with you, or in Santa Monica. There's a big building there. Oh, there you go, Milken Educators. He gives money to teachers, public school teachers every year. I mean, lots and lots and
but
lots.
But not guns, thank goodness.
No, not guns. He's a great, great man. I'm amazed by him, and I'm honored that he thinks that he trusts me to do his music.
I mean, I would say who wouldn't? Clearly somebody who doesn't have the insight of Mr. Milken. What do you want to do next? Anything growing and bubbling currently?
I have something that I'm very, very proud of that's actually coming out very, very soon. And it's another amazing project that I just seem to be asked to do recently. Carnegie Hall has an outreach program where they go into the hospitals and the prisons and the correctional facilities and the drug rehab places, and they work with the mothers there. And there are studies that show if the mothers write lullabies to their kids, there's a better bonding experience. So Carnegie Hall brings in composers to work with these mothers to write lullabies.
Isn't that fabulous? Wow.
Amazing. And I was invited to one of these concerts. In fact, one of the biggest opera stars in the world named Joyce DiDonato called me up. And I don't know Joyce well, but she called and said, would you come to a concert of mine tomorrow? And I thought, well, if Joyce DiDonato is calling me, I'm going to go to her concert. And I thought it was going to be Purcell or the beautiful stuff she sings, but it was a concert of these songs. So I walked in the hall, and all these mothers were there with their babies crying, and they sang all these amazing songs. And so I was in tears the whole time. I went up to them afterwards and said, this is amazing. I'd like to produce a record of this. And they said, well, that's why we invited you. So I said, okay, but here's my idea. I'd really like to get A-list talent to sing them as opposed to the mothers, so we can bring this on. And they said, well, if you can do that, we'd love it. And I said, I don't know if I can, but I'll try. So 2 years later, we're about to release the record with Roseanne Cash and Patti LuPone and Natalie Portman and Fiona Apple and Catherine Zeta-Jones and lots of other people. And it's so spectacular. And a few months ago, Universal heard about it, and they bought the whole thing. So now Universal is sponsoring this whole thing called the Lullaby Project. It's called Hopes and Dreams. And they've just, and Janice Freeman from The Voice is on it. And they've just released the first single, which is Janice Freeman's track for a little highlight. But April 16th, I believe, there you go. April 16th is the big press release, and it comes out then. And I couldn't be more prouder of that. And again, another very emotional project that I'm very proud of.
I can certainly understand that. A number of years ago in New York, there was an organization called Hearts and Voices, and we were going hospital to hospital. I had 8 hospitals at that time that we performed 1-hour shows. I'm sorry, half-hour shows for the patients. And I would recruit somebody at piano and 2 singers for every show. And I must say that as much as I thought and felt we brought to the patients, they gave me so much more. Just to be able... I know I can't go into the lab and effect a cure for diabetes, for AIDS, or for anything else, but to know that I could bring a smile,
that's exactly
or sing a song.
Exactly how I feel.
The old songs are like old friends, and even if they don't know who I am, they know those songs.
Oh, it's great. There's also another organization that I'm involved with called Sing for Hope. Which does similar stuff to that. It's become very, very important in America. I mean, in New York City, and I guess nationally. And I do a lot of stuff for them as well as accompanying. I have a friend who likes to do this, so we go and do a little half-hour concert. Oh, there's Sing for Hope. That's who's your producer? He or she is really right on it there.
That would be Jarvis Essex, and that's spelled ESX Sex. Sex.
All right. Well, Mr. Sex is doing a great job.
Would I work with Mr. Schlapp? No, I got divorced. I know.
It's amazing. Bravo.
Thank you. I'm going to have to pay him more now. But he's worth it. But thank you. Anything else you want to fly by us before?
Well,
I know. Go.
What?
No.
I'll tell you another crazy thing that happened, which I'm very proud of again. On my record label, I have this weird thing that I like doing a lot of poetry and spoken word. So the first CD we did, I got 100 performers to read their favorite poem. And it's called Poetic License, and it's done very well, and we got a lot of attention, and it's one of my favorite projects ever. So last year, I get a call from Benchmark Publishers, who's the third biggest publisher of books, of school books, and they said, would I create the poetry curriculum for K through 6? And I said, of course, that's an amazing thing. So I got Alfre Woodard and Judge Hirsch and Judith Light and Annie Potts and lots of Disney kids and lots of Sesame Street kids. And we created this poetry curriculum that's going in the school system next K through 6. And then they liked it so much, they said, would you do it in Spanish? And I said, sure. So now we're doing it in Spanish. See, that's what I said.
Como no? Oh, that's my Italian.
Exactly. In fact, when I'm going out to LA in a few days, and I'm going to record some artists out there to do it in Spanish. So that's another thing that I never would have thought in my wildest dreams that someone would call me to create the poetry curriculum for America, not just Texas or California, but this is America. So I'm very.
I love that.
I just every time the phone rings or I get an email these days, I think, now what's in store for me?
That's exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be a lot worse because there's nothing worse than no action. Got to have some action. Not a lot. I get overwhelmed. But no action, you'll pardon me, sucks.
I need a lot of action because that American Express card doesn't pay itself. Maybe
you need one where I got it from Milty. Milty makes them. Corner 43rd and Park.
Oh, and that pays itself. As soon as we hang up, I'm gonna go because that's what I need.
Who wouldn't? Before I do let you go to visit Morty, would you please tell our listeners how they may follow you, find out what's going on?
Sure.
Do you Twitter? Do you?
I do. Everything is very accessible. It's Roven Records, at Roven Records on Twitter, or Roven Records, the website, or, rovenrecords.com, or Facebook, Roven Records, or me, Glen Roven. It's there. Oh, there I am. That's the Sing for Hope people. There's Patti LuPone, Paul Schaefer, Joycey Donato. So yeah, I'm all accessible. Come and follow us, buy the CDs, and actually look for the Hopes and Dreams CD, because all the money there goes to a very good cause, to the education at Weil, and it's a great album too. I'm very proud of that.
Excellent. How long are you going to be out here in La La Land?
I'm going to be there for a week. I'm going to be there for a week, working on a secret Netflix project.
Not so secret no more.
Yeah, I'm not telling you who the star is. That's the secret. That's the big old star. And I've never worked with him or her. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm looking forward to it. And maybe after this, I'll be able to say, when we get a green light, maybe I'll be able to say who it is.
Okay. I would love to know. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I do tell almost everything I know, so you'll hear it too from me. Glenn, I can't thank you enough for taking
what a pleasure,
time.
Bonnie.
You're wonderful, and when I grow up, I want to be a conductor too. I always thought that. I mean, working for Sammy, I learned everything from George Rhodes. And he was just the mellowest person. And Sammy would be rather frenetic, and I was a nervous wreck because I didn't want to screw up. And he was just, okay, they're notes.
Right.
I want you to attack them, but you don't have to be mean to them.
Oh, that's fine. That's
okay.
Well, I'm a big fan of his stuff. He was fantastic. Oh, and there's my that's an album that was released of all my music for the last 10 years. Oh, and there's Sammy down there, and there's Frank and George Slaughter. An artist friend made a collage of me. That's my collage.
Well, wonderful memories, wonderful times, and more to make, which is even more wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Bonnie. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Glenn. We'll see you. Take care now. Bye-bye. Thanks for taking the time. As we go to break now, I would like to acknowledge the incredible work of the Diabetes Research Institute, and encourage you to please support their efforts. You can visit them online at diabetesresearch.org. Our song of the day is coming up next. The song is called Listening to Jazz Now. Is performed by Daniel, here we go, Okalich. And this is by Glen Roven. Let's listen.
Type 1 diabetes can be living in anyone.
Type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas doesn't produce insulin. It's not caused by your diet. It's not caused by anything you did.
Type 1 diabetes can be very serious.
Blindness, amputation.
Learn more about type 1 diabetes.
Help support JDRF finding a cure.
T1D looks like my brother.
T1D looks like a friend.
Type 1 diabetes looks like me.
Big
Welcome back. This is the Bonnie Sher Show, Boomer Life. And my co-host for this segment is Hanna Boethium, which I certainly hope I pronounced properly. Hanna is a member of the T1D type 1 diabetes community, originally from Sweden, and now living in Switzerland. So, welcome, Hanna.
Yay! Hi, Bonnie.
Hey, yay yourself. You're living with T1. Share your story with us, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you for doing so well for so long. I saw you celebrated a very big milestone yesterday.
I did 50 years. I don't know how I'm going to do the next 50, but I know I'm going to try.
We'll get there.
I'll just have to lower my carbs, right?
That's part of it. Anyway, my story. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 2 years old.
My goodness.
So I was very young. I didn't understand much of anything. I actually don't think I understand much of anything when it comes to diabetes still. But in these past 33 years, it's been a long road. And lots of ups and downs. And when I was diagnosed, my parents were, or actually my mother, was terrified of needles. So you can imagine how it was for her to hunt her little 2-year-old daughter to stab her with a needle a couple of times a day. But in the 80s, of course, we got the beautiful advice that type 1s still get to a certain degree, that you should eat 45 to 60 grams of carbs with every meal. You get a bonus point if you have low-fat milk to your meal. And then also you get a bonus point if you have fruit after your meal. This proved to be not so good for me. And I never actually got control of my diabetes when I was a kid. Or after I took control of it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, when I was a teenager, I actually gave up. Because nothing worked. I tried everything. I tried changing insulins. I tried changing what I ate. I tried to change the type of carbs I ate. I tried to change the exercise I was doing. I tried to change this and that and everything. And nothing worked. I was still stuck with that same blood sugar roller coaster that I had developed after my hormones kicked in when I was a teenager. And so...
See, but you're right. We didn't know that. I couldn't get to, no matter what I did, I would do the exact same thing one day to the next. And one day, everything was jaunty jolly, and then it was clearly wrong.
Yep.
May I ask what they are charging now for a bottle of insulin, say a Novolog or a Humalog, any fast-acting insulin now in Switzerland or in Zurich? I don't know that all.
Yes. Well, I actually just got a bill for that from my doctor, and I was surprised because it's about $45. I know, it's a joke.
Tell you what we're paying here.
I know, and that's
And then
crazy.
if you, heaven forbid, even with insurance, okay, my copay recently went from $11 to $87 in 1 month. And what happens when you break a bottle? Then you're in for full pop again, which can be, depending on who you're doing business with, anywhere from... 200, because you can't use your insurance again, maybe $250 to $450. And I remember years ago, before they changed the insurance law, and so I was unable to be insured because of my pre-existing condition, which I had always thought was my mother, but turned out to be the diabetes. I can remember rationing insulin, and I think back over these 50 years, of what has, because complications did begin for me at about year 30. What would have happened if I had needed to do that? I mean, it wasn't that I didn't want to follow the directions, I just couldn't afford to do it.
Yeah.
And there are groups like, there's one that's very big now that I've been following, and they're hashtag insulin for all.
Yes.
Which I think is essential.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is.
I mean,
it is,
you can eat all the right foods and do everything right. And if you can't get access to the insulin, and I can remember, again, 50 years ago, my insulin, my regular, was $2.83 a bottle. So you didn't so
That's
much care when
insane.
you dropped it, and it just smelled funny around the house. But no, I'm sorry I interrupted, but I just am
That's
always
fine.
so fascinated with what other countries do.
Yeah, and then I gotta say, I am quite thankful that I don't live in the United States, because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford to take care of myself as well as I can in other countries.
Well, that may be something that I may need to look into at some time, because
Come join me over this side.
I could do that. I could have a little Tetzenegel. I mean, I don't talk about that a lot, but there was a little kiosk right down the street from the school which I attended, and the food in the school was kind of dreadful, but oh, that chocolate was good. And I actually didn't develop the diabetes until the next year. So,
Oh, lucky.
Oh, yeah. Well, the food was so bad. I mean, I thought that was the reason. Just really bad food.
That's why your pancreas said, thanks, goodbye, I'm done.
I know. It just, that was it. I mean, it worked fine for 15 years and 6 months and 28 days, and then said, I'm done. That's it.
Thanks.
That's it. Nice to know you, but I'm done working here.
I know, right?
So,
yeah, for some it comes earlier.
So my next question to you, as I ask all of my co-hosts, what issue, T1 issue, would you like to bring to our community today?
I would like to bring the fact that there is always a solution for feeling better and for being healthier with diabetes. And it isn't necessarily what your doctor may tell you, but you have to be willing, able, and ready to find out for yourself.
Absolutely.
And what works for one person won't work for the next. So you can get inspired by us, all of us, sharing our stories online and speaking about them on stages and in radio shows and on podcasts and all of these things. But if you just try to model someone else's routine or regime or whatever, care, it won't work for you. So you have to make sure that you find your way.
Well, that's pretty much what we're here to do now, is to maintain our best. May I ask you, in terms of pump versus MDI, do you wear a sensor as well? Or if you do?
I am a fully bionic woman.
Yeah, that's what I called myself. Yeah.
I have a sensor on the back of my arm here,
do you do the door jam thing? How do you get that?
Oh, I have a very helpful husband.
How's he going to feel about coming to LA once a week?
He might actually enjoy that a little bit, because we have really terrible snow here right now, so we might actually both come over and just help you with that. That's cool.
I have room. Come on down.
Awesome.
I don't know how much low-carb food you're going to get. I'll be good. I'll be
it's
good.
my challenge. It's my challenge at every restaurant I go to find the one thing that I can eat.
That you can or can't?
That I can.
Oh, that is a challenge. I have that challenge.
Especially in the U.S.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing with us and just take good care of yourself, and we'll be checking in with you to see how things are going. And how may our guests follow you?
Oh, they can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter, and I will be found under Hanna Diabetes Expert. And also when in my alter ego role as a event planner, I organize low carb events in Europe with big international low carb stars. So they can also find me under the Low Carb Universe.
I've got a studio full of people who are going to look you up now.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Hey, with the Bonnie Sher Show, you don't have to wait too long. That's because of Jarvis Essex.
Woo!
He's so happy. It takes so little, and he's so happy.
Well, that's a wonderful thing.
And then there's Tony Johnson. I'm sorry, but... Well, I'm not sorry. Be that way. Hannah, you take good care of yourself. Stay in touch. Let us know what's happening. If there's anything I can do to help you promote anything, although I'd say you promote pretty well because that's how I found you. And keep up the great work. We all need your help. So you take good care.
Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Oh, thank you, Hannah. Be well. If any of our fellow T1s would like to occupy the guest host chair, it's very easy. All you have to do is write me, Bonnie@BonnieSher.com. I'll get back in touch with you. We'll find a date. And like Presto Changeo, you'll be a T1 co-host with me also. Now, next, coming up is Boomer News and plenty of views from my soapbox. Back in 60 seconds.
I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a social worker. When I found out that I had hepatitis C, I was a single mother, and I was absolutely terrified.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, estimates there are close to 3 million baby boomers infected with hepatitis C. Because there can be no symptoms for decades, most don't even know it. But if detected in time, Hep C can be cured, and the treatment is simple.
Today I feel great. I'm a healthy 65-year-old. I bike to work, I go to the gym, and I've cleared the virus.
The CDC is urging everybody born between 1945 and 1965 to get tested. It's an easy one-time blood test that may be covered by insurance.
I got a disease that could have killed me, but I saved my own life by getting tested.
Don't wait. Ask your doctor about getting tested for Hep C, because knowing is everything.
Patti LaBelle is looking for backup singers, 65 and older, who boom.
I'm so excited. I mean, just to sing one note in front of Patti, it's just like, I'm done. That's it. I'm good. Hi, Patti.
Hi, sweetie.
I am such a big fan of yours.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Well, right now, girl, you better sing. Terry, cue it up, baby.
What the singers don't know is that we rigged the microphone so it sounds like they have pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious but vaccine-preventable disease.
I'm feeling good from my hat to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do. I tidied up my point of view.
I'm in control of my ways of you. 'Cause I got love like I never knew.
Then, Patti let the singers in on it.
I got you.
Even if you're healthy, pneumococcal pneumonia can strike anywhere, anytime, and keep you from doing the things you love.
I'm feeling good from my head to my shoes. Know where I'm going and I know what to do.
If you're 65 or older, even if you're healthy, get a new attitude about the risks of pneumococcal pneumonia and talk to your doctor about the importance of vaccination.
I did it. Go get your vaccinations. Now, to my soapbox. You know, that's the one. It's my take on who should be complimented as well as my shout down, which is who I believe should really be ashamed of themselves. Excuse me, I'm still drinking here. But here's my shout out is to Wes Alford from the great state of Arizona. Wes started out, I believe, on the 17th of the month, and he is hiking the Pacific Coast Trail, which is 2,647 miles. It will take him 5 months to complete this hike, and he is doing this to bring awareness and funding for diabetes research. We will be following Wes every week and sending him our best. I don't know. That's a lot of walking. I mean, that's more than me doing Bloomingdale's all 5 floors. I don't know how he's going to do it, but the man is driven. So if you wouldn't mind, I would love for you to go to Facebook if you are on the book, and who isn't. Well, there are those. I just answered my own question, didn't I? You didn't even need you here. But please, you can, if you can, you can make a donation. If not, we'll just know that you got your best wishes behind him, and it's something you can personally do for our community. So I ask that you take a minute. And Wes's last name is spelled Alford. I think there's also on Facebook, if I remember it, I think it's Hike. It's something about Hike and PCT, and best that you just look for us, and then you'll see everything. Pardon me? Hiking for a Cure. God, I love having Tony Johnson here. Hiking for a Cure, PCT, Pacific Coast Trail, that is. Okay. So, what else do we have here? We got that. Oh, and now my shout down. I've talked about this before, and what this is my shout down to jails and prisons currently for failing to properly care for type 1 diabetic prisoners and inmates. There are a number of problems here and common issues. Individuals who are incarcerated faced. Number one is the problem with insulin type. For the most part, prisons will give NPH and regular, but most people with diabetes don't use those insulins anymore, and they're used to managing their diabetes with long-acting and fast-acting insulins. They are used to manage their diabetes, and this change in insulin can result in fluctuations, as we know, in blood sugar, including more frequent highs and sudden lows. And this causes concern about diabetes-related medical complications, both short and long-term. Next is problem with insulin delivery. Often, for any number of reasons, an individual may not receive a prescribed dose of insulin. They might receive an incorrect dose, or maybe will receive a dose at an inappropriate time. Then there is an inability to monitor the blood sugar regularly. Most prisons won't allow the inmates to carry a blood glucose monitor, meaning that individuals may not know what their blood sugar is at any given time. And lastly is inappropriate nutrition, whether it's regular meals that they have too many carbs and refined sugars, or they have limited access to the commissary. watch this space. I will be doing more research on this and try and find a way that we can do something about this. Maybe through the CDEs to be able to make an appointment and go in and train staff. And of course, they're medical people, but that's something that I really hope gets done. So that's the show. And before I say goodbye, I would like to thank my guests today one more time. Something's happening here. Glen, Roven, and Hanna Boethium. Anybody want to take a quick? Boethium. Both of you say Boethium, and I. Boethium. Okay, got it. Okay, then we go down to, well, like I said, that's our show. And I do hope you'll return next week for another 50 minutes. Well, through the land of Bonnie, through the land of entertainment, through the great boomer generation, and through the world of type 1 diabetes and our community. Until then, please follow me and visit me at bonniesher.com. You can follow the number 1 Bonnie Sher on Twitter. And I ask that you like one Bonnie Sher wrong. And I did that. Then we have Bonnie Sings Lena. That's my Facebook fan page. I knew that, I really did, but I had to write it down. Many of you are aware of the special role that Sammy Davis Jr. played in my life. He was my mentor, and he was my friend. So I like to dedicate this show, and I sort of ended Carol Burnett style with a wink and a nod to you, Sammy. You were the best. Take care till next week. Bye.